Some magazine.
Why am I blurry?
And hey, that's on you, man. I found out the
Yeah.
interview was with you, and I was a little apprehensive because you're just way better looking than me, and
Oh,
I was like, you know what? I'll just, in honor of the spirit of Halloween, I will bite the bullet and deal with you and all of your sexiness.
you are so full of shit, Mr. Barton. That's all I can say. That's all I can say to you.
How are you, man? I haven't spoke to you in forever.
It has been forever and a day, and I was so excited to find out I was going to get to talk with you. We've known each other, I feel like, for 30 years,
Yeah,
but
something.
we seldom, if ever, chat. So this is awesome.
Yeah, man, I'm
Uh,
happy.
Same here. And congratulations on your career, man. You've done amazing things. One of the things we're getting ready to talk about here, your All Hallows Eve Inferno.
It's
Uh,
been crazy, man. Who knew? I started Dread Central. I started all of this as a hobby, right? And I
I
just,
think we all did. We all did. I can remember you were the message board moderator at Fangoria.
that was my
And
first,
that's when I first met you, and I got hired by Creature Corner
and I
to do
remember.
news for them. And you reached out to me, and you were like, "Dude, you got this." You didn't know me from anybody. You were like, "Dude, you got this. You're going to be great at this." And I always appreciated that. I always did. Although our paths have never really crossed. I've obviously followed your career and everything you've been up to, and and then so much has happened to you. I mean, we could do just an hour on you and not even talk
Yeah.
about this movie. But
And
we
we
got to
should,
talk about the movie.
yeah.
Maybe when you start promoting the book, we can talk again.
I'm already doing it, dude. We could double book. Don't worry about it. Email me.
Sounds good. We'll make it happen, huh? Well, let's talk about All Hallows Eve.
Yeah,
This was a franchise that you originated how many years ago?
I didn't originate it. Jesse Baget originated it. And the idea of it was to be like a collection of the short films of Damien Leone, you know? And I mean, one of the short films included in it was, of course, Terrifier, and that's what really served as the proof of concept for the feature film. I released Terrifier, I distributed Terrifier, the original, through Dread Central when I was still working with them. And then I went on to executive produce part two. And that turned into a fucking juggernaut, and that was amazing. And I'm thrilled for the franchise's success. Um, Several months ago, Jesse, who did the original, asked me if I'd be interested to come on and produce a new one. And I was like, well, I don't know. Let me see if I can come up with a good angle, you know. And I thought about it, and I thought about it, and what I loved about All Hallows Eve is it put Damien's work. I mean, he was an unknown at that point in front of the right people. And that's why he got to start making movies. So I said to Jesse, why don't we go after pre existing shorts? Like Damien had all these shorts. Let me put out a call for filmmakers. I got 900 something submissions. I never thought it would be
That's
that.
insane.
I watched them all. And what was advantageous about watching them was I got to see which ones would fit together where. And All Hallows Eve is the flagship. So, I mean, for that, I wanted to pick the best of the best, and what I wanted to do with it was I mean, when you make a short film, right? When you're an indie filmmaker and you make a short film, unfortunately, your short film has a very finite lifespan. You do your festival runs, you get featured on a website, you get whatever you can get out of it. And then ultimately your film ends up living and dying on Vimeo or YouTube or somewhere like that. And because there's so much white noise out there now, you can make a movie on your computer. So you have all these people making movies who probably shouldn't. I mean, just because you have sauce, cheese, and dough doesn't mean you can make a pizza, right? And it just clouds that area so much to make it even harder to find the good shorts. So to use these pre-existing shorts and be able to have a new avenue in which to give filmmakers a second life for their movies that they worked so hard to create, expose them to a whole different audience on a whole different level. I mean, it was an opportunity I couldn't pass up because, as you know, I've been doing this for a very long time. And one of my favorite things to do is to help the indie filmmaker because I believe in them and I believe that's where the future of the genre lies. So to be able to turn people on to these shorts they've never even seen before, even though some of them are 1, 2 years old, it's just a great opportunity for everybody. And I pray, like with the Cinderella story that Damien experienced, the right people see these shorts and it gets on its way and something wonderful happens for them. I want to see feature versions of every short included in All Hallows Eve. I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is a particularly strong. Not that the two you had, All Hallows Eve 2, which you mentioned, then you had Trickster. Were you involved in that?
Nothing to do with All Hallows Eve 2 and Trickster. I had a little input in.
Okay, so this is the first one.
Yeah, this
Since
one was
the original kind of.
yeah.
Yeah, this one's all you, as they say, huh?
Yeah, for better or for worse. Yeah.
So when you're watching these shorts, and you said you had such a huge onslaught of them now, uh, you kind of have to tie them around some type of a central story, right? Some type of a driving force. How did that play into the shorts you chose? And were there ones you couldn't choose because you couldn't find a way to tie them in?
No, not at all. The concept for me has always been to take like a short film block that somebody would see at a festival and just put it in their house, you know? But instead of, people coming up to introduce the film, I wanted something that wasn't going to take away from the films themselves. I wanted the films to be the star. So Jesse had this idea of this woman in an accident. She goes to the hospital, ends up taking an elevator ride to hell. And that's why he came up with the name All Hallows Eve Inferno. But for me, the what I wanted to do in terms of choosing the shorts and which shorts to choose, they had to be of the same quality. They had to be of like the same production value. Because when you give somebody a anthology and they're watching it and they're looking at this and that, if you have films of such drastically varying degrees quality wise, like, I mean, a movie made for $10 could be just as good as a movie made for $1 million. It's jarring for the viewer. So to me, it was more or less finding something that would fit together without freaking out the person and just give them a more fuller experience. You want to keep the viewer's attention. And as soon as you start losing them, they're probably going to shut it off. So it was important for me to keep everyone's attention and fill it with not just, I mean, another thing that came up, do I fill it with Halloween horror movies or Halloween themed shorts? And I opted against that because it's been done so many times. And I figured as long as the shorts are good and they're spooky, it doesn't matter. You want to just get something that's going to make the audience sit up and pay attention. So there are ghost stories, there are monster stories, there's a bunch of stuff in them, and I love that. And that was a gamble, about not filling it with Halloween shorts because I certainly could have. I mean, I didn't disqualify any shorts because they were Halloween themed, but the best of the best that I was sent is what you saw. And I think that each one of them earned their right to be in a flagship franchise like All Hallows Eve.
And I would agree. I watched the film last night, and I think it's incredibly solid. And the mix of films is perfect. That's why I was wondering if you kind of went in with that preconceived notion, because it kind of seems like you did, but
No, well,
it's interesting to find out you didn't.
Then I did my job, right? You didn't
That's
notice.
it.
So then
That's it.
that's that again. It was just giving the audience a fuller experience and not jarring them and just keeping them interested. And also, I love the idea of just never knowing where you're going to go next. From
Right.
from a little girl's table to a restaurant to a fucking horrific maze made by a madman. You never know which one you're going to go to. And to me, it's like, I just told someone else, it's like someone hands you a big bowl of popcorn with all your favorite candy mixed in. You just reach in and start grabbing shit. it's like that kind of excitement, you know. You don't know what you're going to get. You're going to eat it, right?
Yeah, and we're sitting here. We're recording this on All Hallows Eve, so this would be a
Yeah.
perfect. It's on Tubi. It's on Fandango. There is no reason not to watch this, right? I mean, none.
It's
You got to
there.
do it.
I hope that it resonates with the audience. I hope they're excited to see new filmmakers and good films from new filmmakers, because these cats could be the future, you know. And if it
Yep.
resonates with the audience and it ends up being successful, it would be a privilege for me to do another one, you know. And maybe we can make that happen.
Yep. I think that's in your future, Mr. Creepy.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Steve.
I never know what's in my future, evidently. Everyone does but me, unfortunately.
That seems to be working for you, so we'll just keep rolling with it, okay?
Trying, man.
Hey, I cannot thank you enough for taking some time out of your day and talking with me. We're going to be talking again soon.
Yeah, man. Just you have all my contact information. Just hit me off.
Yeah.
I'll send a PDF of the book. I'll hop on. No time constraints. Whatever you want to do.
Perfect. Sounds great. Steve, thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Happy Halloween, motherfucker.
Happy Halloween to you as well.
Fuck you from my ghost. Fuck you from my ghost.
Gruesome Magazine.